Merry Christmas. Nathan and I are looking a little festive today.
Festivus.
Yeah. And you look great in the hat, though.
Thanks.
And this coat's actually pretty warm.
Yeah. You're gonna need it. It's freezing in here.
It is freezing. So, guys, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, we're doing a little Christmas episode, Christmas special. I had this idea. I told this to Nate. I was like, let's sit down and talk about life lessons that we've learned this year. Our lives just kind of take a break from the awkward, hilarious, cringy, gruesome, disgusting stories. Mm-hmm. But as always, if you want to submit stories, we'll have that link below. Today's episode is life lessons with Jake and Nate. A couple of 27-year-olds who think they have it all figured out.
A combined life experience of 54 years.
Yeah. When you say it that way. But without further ado, let's cook.
Living in a daydream. Ooh, such a sweet thing. Life on the big screen. It's such a beautiful scene, yeah.
Well, hello, Jacob.
Merry Christmas, Nathan.
Merry Christmas.
Christmas is in 4 or 5 days?
Yeah, 5 days.
What do you want for Christmas?
Well, this Christmas, I want a sous vide.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Explain the sous vide to the
sous vide,
peasants in the audience.
Yeah. To our non-kitchen guests. Yeah. The sous vide is basically it's a hot water bath. Yeah. So it's great for cooking steaks. Mm-hmm. You vacuum seal it, and the cool thing is you can vacuum seal
you're
it
not
with
boiling meat.
No, you're not. No, yeah. You put the meat in this little bag. You can put in some compound butters, some herbs, and it seals nice and tight. You put it into the bath, and there's this little heater mechanism. Mm-hmm. Set it to 135, and it runs for however long, and it cooks the steak perfectly to 135.
Or fish or chicken.
Or fish or chicken or whatever it is. And all you have to do is just then take it out and then just sear it on a cast iron pan, and it's just perfectly
So the steak,
cooked.
Would you kind of do 125, 120? Because then you're going to sear it.
You're going to sear it, yeah. I don't know. There'll be some experimentation. Yeah. Probably, 125, 130.
Asking for that from Santa then.
Yeah. Just a nice little sous vide.
Nice.
I also asked for a pizza book.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm real excited about that one.
Nice.
Those are the 2 hot items.
Yeah, those are big.
Yeah. How about you?
Ask for a Lego set.
Classic. On character?
I subscribe to the Lego magazine, so I still get those monthly.
Right.
And there's this Lego set. It was a old film camera, a collector's item Lego set. One of those adult Lego sets. And it was a tripod with an old time film camera with film strips coming out of it. And I was like, I need that. So Kenzie, Santa got it for me. And I think I would also like another cookbook for next year.
A what?
Another cookbook, yeah.
What cookbook?
I don't know. I've gone through my cookbooks this year religiously, and I just want a new one. So I'm not sure. So,
just anyone.
I want something new,
something good.
Yeah.
With the Lego sets, don't you build it? You get it and you build it within 30 minutes.
In a few hours, yeah. Depends on the set, yeah. Depends on the.
So it's just the quick hit.
It's like an afternoon thing.
Just a quick hit of dopamine.
Yeah. This one's cool because I actually can put it in my office as a set piece because it looks like it fits in,
Because right now you have the Mario thing in your office.
Yeah, I actually took all my Legos down and put them in a big tin under my stairs. Yeah.
Why'd you take them down?
There's just so many. I want a minimal office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where are you gonna put the film camera?
Probably on my workstation, where my Komodo is. Yeah. I love Christmas.
Me too.
I feel like you and I both are huge Christmas guys.
It's the season of Christmas. The day of,
Day
it's
of
all right.
Awesome.
Day of,
but
to me, it's just all right.
It definitely is the season.
To me, Christmas Day is just all right. After noon, it's a regular day.
Yeah. Interesting.
You go maybe hang out with some family, eat some food, maybe see a movie.
Yeah.
But it's almost depressing because it's Christmas almost over.
It is sad that night. Yeah.
The whole build up.
Christmas Eve is the best.
Yeah, no, the Christmas season is the best. From December 1st to December 21st, 22nd, 5th. Holy cow.
I know, it's sad we were not having a white Christmas this year.
Yeah, me too.
Really sad about that, actually.
Yeah.
I love Christmas. We put our tree up this year in November, early November. We were just feeling it.
Yeah. You have lights on your house too, don't you?
Yeah.
White? Are they white?
Yeah. Love Christmas.
What do you think of people with like blue Christmas lights?
I don't want to wage war. I want to make waves. But I like the white and the red.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think sometimes white, red, and green even look classy.
I like just the white.
I think if you're going to go blue, you got to go all out. You're going to have like a ton of stuff and make it like a show.
It can get messy though, real
Yeah.
quick. Drove past a house last night and it was blue, green, red.
Yeah.
There was like some shade of purple in there, and it was just
I think just stay. I'm a minimal guy. I like just white and red.
It
So
looks clean, classy.
classy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys,
This is gonna be a fun one.
we got some feedback from our viewers this last week.
Yeah.
We were hanging out with Cherish Conklin from Larev, and we're like, yeah, like because she listens to our podcast. We're like, yeah, Cherish, like, what'd you think? She's like, yeah, I fast forwarded through the eating chocolate part because that was like 20 minutes of the last episode.
Understandably,
It's like an ASMR chocolate eating, so
Yeah.
we'll just take that
I mean,
feedback
yeah,
and dive in.
we knew it was coming. I mean, who wants to listen to chewing into a
Yeah.
mic? But hey, maybe we'll just start eating at the end, so we get through the beef,
Yeah.
you know, the meat of the podcast,
Yeah,
and then just
yeah.
indulge.
Yeah, busy week for us. We got a lot going on before Christmas. Neither of us want to work next week.
No.
Christmas is on Monday, which is kind of awkward because then your whole week, it's just kind of like you feel like it should be a vacation week.
Right.
And then New Year's. So a lot going on this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're delivering like a few FOMO edits, a few wedding films, and then prepping to launch our Champagne Club. And I think I'm just going to talk about that for a quick second for those interested because we've teased it a few times.
Right.
But Nathan and I, we've always offered one-off coaching calls, which we've loved. We've gotten to know some awesome people through them and had a few follow-up calls. But our issues with the coaching call system, and we pay for coaching calls all the time, but the issue with that system is that you don't know if what you said works. We feel like we might give advice and think, well, like, and then we never talk to them again. We don't know. A few times they'll DM us and say, hey, it worked, or hey, I question about this, but it was missing the accountability. And so Nathan and I wanted to do something that was still a coaching program, but not a mastermind. We don't want it to be a year-long commitment because for what we wanted to offer, we just thought, there's plenty of great masterminds out there. We want to kind of make something a little bit more intimate. And so Nate had the name of Champagne Club, which I think you got just from our color palette.
Yeah.
We have a champagne color, and he's like Champagne Club, and we've been sitting on that name for like a year and a half.
Right.
And so we're launching, starting in January, the Champagne Club, which is a 3-month coaching program, one-on-one coaching designed to help you get to that next stage in your business, whatever that may be. We're only allowing 20 people in the club, no more, no less, 20 people because every call is personalized. There's no group calls. It's one-on-one coaching with me and Nate, and you're basically getting 2 calls for the price of 1 every single month. There's 6 calls, 2 a month for 3 months, a newsletter, assignments, homework, follow-up, a guest speaker. I was going to tease it. Screw it. It's Will Sarmiento. He's going to come on and teach how to edit. So we're taking every month. So month 1's goal setting, business branding. Month 2 is technical filmmaking, video reviews, color grading, music selection, all those things. Month 3 is networking, building a brand with vendors, adding value, and then some Q&As. And we have some fun little treats also sprinkled in, some bonus items and activities and stuff. Right. And if it goes well, and if we feel like we can make it work, we would love to do like a club retreat sometime.
Yeah.
Like a little celebration party, but TBD on that one. But Champagne Club.
Super
Very
stoked
excited about it. Yeah.
Very excited.
We thought, next quarter is pretty slow for us wedding wise. We only have a few. And we thought, well, let's work a 9 to 5 basically, doing calls all week. So and getting to know people, and we're very excited about it. So you guys will announce that. We'll post about it. It'll be on our education page on Instagram. And yeah, we're only taking 20 people. So keep your eye out for that if something like this interests you. If not, no worries. But Champagne Club 2024.
Should be like a slogan for it. Champagne Club.
Drink your success. I don't know.
Fast track to.
Actually, I did think I made a.
Did you? Did you really make a slogan?
It's not very good.
You wrote it down?
Hold on.
Champagne
Yeah, I
Club.
don't know how to find it. Anyway,
We'll put it in the show notes.
it was like a very generic sales thing, like elevate your success or something.
little Chat GPT prompt.
Yeah, actually, I think it was the default Kajabi prompt.
Really?
the course builder.
Just kept it.
I was like, well, that actually works.
Yeah.
Anyway,
works
guys,
great.
so
We're excited for
Nate,
that.
Nate and I, we the courses were great. We spent all year making courses. We're still gonna be finishing up those courses next year. We fell behind, but I feel like both of us find a lot more fulfillment in the one-on-one personalized coaching, getting to the root of what you need and not just making a course and a script that's generic to everyone. We wanted to provide something that was a lot more tailored and custom to people's needs and problems. And because I know you and I, we have very specific needs and questions, and we go to different places to find those answers. But sometimes courses just don't check that box.
Yeah.
Not all the time, at least.
You need something more personalized sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only salesy plug I'll do today for one of our products.
Yeah.
But we're excited about
Till
it.
next week.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's more about connecting with our community than it is about anything else. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm talking a lot, but
Hey,
I'll
that's all right.
also say
How deep
this
are we?
week we're taking a little step back from our usual written by you series, and we thought in the spirit of Christmas, in the spirit of the season, something that's kind of been on my mind that I pitched to Nate was I'd like to just kind of sit down and talk about some life lessons we've learned, whether it happened this year or just in general in our lives, things that you feel like you and I separately have learned to make us better humans, better people, better husbands, better business owners, better filmmakers, whatever it is. We don't know each other's answers, but we each wrote down 5 life lessons that we felt impacted the trajectory of our life. And we're just going to go one after the other and share those life lessons, be a little bit vulnerable here, and then critique each other's life lessons,
That's a terrible lesson.
judge each other's life lessons, and see if it's actually worth lessening.
No, I like that. Yeah. Feel free to critique any lessons I've learned
Interesting life lesson,
through
Nate.
my blood, sweat, and
I
tears.
would never have to learn that.
Yeah. No, I and it is funny because we're 27 years young. And yeah, I saw this thread the other day of some influencer, and someone in the comments was calling him out like, "Oh, you don't know anything. You're a 20-something-year-old," sort of thing. And, sometimes there's some truth to that, but really wisdom is just experience multiplied by time. And I feel like there's a lot of people like, how do I say this nicely?
Don't just say it.
I think there is such thing as a 25-year-old that is more wise than a 65-year-old. Some people just don't learn the lessons in life. I've met plenty of 65-year-olds that are just kind of like, ugh, So that's not to say we are wise.
Wisdom is relative.
Wisdom is relative. That is what I'm trying to say. Wisdom is relative. If these life lessons don't vibe with you, that's okay. We're still learning. We're still young. We've learned a lot this year. As opposed to even last year, I feel like this has been a huge year of growth. A lot of things have been challenged. A lot of things have changed. And I think that's good.
Challenge is the great word for this year.
Yeah, challenging.
I feel like everything we said, we challenged it.
Right. Yeah,
We're challenged by it.
we challenged and we're challenged. Yeah, that's a good motto.
My mom calls me challenged.
A great life motto, I guess, for you.
Really resonates with me. That word.
Really loved that challenge.
No, but I couldn't. Yeah, I mean, not to say we've also met some stupid 25-year-olds
Oh, yeah, more often than
who
not.
have had zero life experience.
Exactly. No, more often than not, the 25-year-old is less wise than the
so-
65, right?
What we're trying to say is, let us be vulnerable.
Let us
share our relative wisdom.
Let us
of what
pretend.
our life experiences have led us to.
Yes, Jacob. Let us pretend like we're wise here for a second.
My gamer tag is wiseman23.
Hey, I guess Weisler.
The wise man. In the spirit of Christmas, wise.
So you
men.
want me to? What? Oh yeah. Wait, what?
We'll
How's
call
that?
this episode "The Wise Men." 2 wise men
Two wise men,
giving gifts of No, I'll think. of it.
frankincense and myrrh. What do you want me to kick this off?
I think I would.
I think I would like that.
You look great in that hat, by the way.
Thanks. You look great in the
For
coat.
our audio listeners, Nate is wearing a Santa hat, and he Some would call him Daddy Claus.
Jake's wearing the Santa coat.
Yeah, together we are one.
It was his costume. I don't have
Okay,
costumes.
come on. Yeah, it's actually pieces of a full Grinch costume I have. But
I'm not a costume guy.
me neither.
But
I just have this.
you've got some costumes.
I don't like. I gotta get some costumes. Yeah.
Okay. We shall get started. We're 12 minutes into this, I think. We got to work on.
We do.
Yeah, we'll work on that. 2024. That's a kitchen podcast goal, just to get straight to the point. Okay. Life lesson number 1, Jacob. Don't get excited too quick. Okay. Now I originally had this as I initially put this down as lower your expectations. Okay. But I do believe that you do have a right to expect life to give you good things. The more you expect life is going to be good, the more it is going to be good. But where it does get a little dangerous for me and from us personally, we have multiple times, especially this past year,
Last year especially.
when
was
we
the
were
epitome.
chalked up on something, like someone pitched us an event, it was a wedding, it was some experience, it was some amount of money to be made. And all we had was that relative information. And all we had for months or weeks or however long was, we're going to do this. It's going to be insane. It's going to be great. Here's the mood board. Here's the text thread. This is going to be so cool. And we set these high expectations.
And it wasn't.
And fast forward, it
Or we
wasn't.
even set those expectations. Or we took the best case scenario and only thought about the best case scenario.
Right. And we didn't play off anything else because it was just going to be so good. And all that really happened was the day of the event or the day of whatever it was, we were just let down. And we probably didn't perform as well as we could have, or, and it's not just events. It could be in relationships or whatever. It could be a date night that's planned and something goes wrong and you're not as happy as you wish you were. And I feel like that happened a lot this year. And I realized I kept wanting to say the term hamper your expectations, but I don't think that's correct.
Hamper.
Just keep them realistic. This idea that you need to make X amount of money before you're happy. You need to live in a house that has so many square feet before you're happy. It's just, I know people who are they have less than I have, but they're way happier. They're way more fulfilled. And I think that's a lesson I feel like I was learning this year, that happiness really isn't what you have or what's given. It's just your day-to-day mindset about things. So again,
Don't be optimistic.
So
Hope for the worst and be surprised.
see, that's not exactly
That's
it.
the half cup empty view of
it's
it.
a weird, a weird way of saying, don't lower your expectations, but be realistic. Be optimistic, yes, but if you don't have the greatest expectations going into things, be realistic, and you'll always be exceeded in your joy of whatever's given to you.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. So I've been taking that Dave Ramsey financial course, which has been really interesting. But I took a call with one of their coaches and just said like, hey, like our income is inconsistent, month to month. We're entrepreneurs and we're business owners, and it could vary.
Right.
And the principle of budgeting money, you always should budget your lowest month.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same principle. Because if you budget for your lowest income month, then you'll have no surprises or you won't be stressed. And then everything you make past that is just additional money you get to keep and that you get to have fun with.
Yeah.
But if you budget for your best month and say, wow, this month I made 10K, but you usually don't make 10K, but then you start living like you're making 10K every month, obviously you'll go broke. And so I think it's the same principle.
Yeah, it is.
In regards to like expectations though.
Right.
I would always rather be pleasantly surprised than
Let down.
always disappointed.
And I think I saw it with a lot of my friends this year as well. I still have a lot of friends who are single and trying to find someone,
You have a lot of friends in general.
but a lot of single friends still. And they're
Nothing wrong
just
with being single.
they're
It's
just
a miserable way to
kinda-
live.
they're looking for someone who is perfect. Just fireworks, sparks fly every single time they see them. They have this idea that who knows how long they've built up this image of what their partner is going to look like or how it's going to make them feel. And when push comes to shove and it's time to get down on the knee and propose, they've been dating for so many years, they just chicken out. They get cold feet because they had this expectation all growing up that I need to feel this, I need to have this. And you realize pretty quick that real life doesn't always work that way. And not to say that you shouldn't be excited, but just not hamper your
I
expectations.
looked up hamper. It's actually a perfect word.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
It means to hinder or impede the movement or progress of.
Impede your expectation.
No, I think that's a good lesson. I like that.
Yeah. So that was something I've been thinking on this year.
Yeah. And you think that like hampering your expectations
Yeah.
will make you less optimistic? I would submit it does the exact opposite,
I feel very optimistic.
because now when those big things do
Right.
happen, we are a lot more excited about it than if they were already expected to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my
I
life
love
lesson
that.
number one.
I love that lesson number one. And do you feel like that's like a 2023 lesson, or do you feel like that's kind of like
feel
over
like-
your,
Um,
or if that's something that's really hit home this
yeah,
year?
actually, it's hit home this year. I'd never really thought of that through, my life until this past year. Starting a business, having expectations of we're gonna make this amount, and we're gonna film A-list celebrities in our first year, and
Yeah.
all gung ho, just to realize that you have little bits and pieces, which we. I guess we did everything we thought we did. I guess
Don't have your expectations. Go all in.
I guess we achieved everything we wanted.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But yeah.
This year specifically.
This year specifically, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, both to me and people have like around me. But yeah, I feel more optimistic than ever. I think this past year.
Well, going back to marriage too. What did David A. Bednar who said, "Choose your love and love your choice"? Was that him?
I don't know. Not
It's
quite
one of
sure.
them.
Not sure.
Choose your love, love your choice. Like commit to something.
Yeah.
Like don't like just choose something and be like, oh, it didn't work out, or oh, this, like, oh, this course didn't do well, or oh, this didn't do well, or
Right.
or oh, this sucks. Like, well, then just like go,
Yeah.
care for it. Like,
Yeah.
let it grow. Like,
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I always just think about that. There are people who make less money than I do, live in a smaller home than I do, don't drive a car like mine, and they're way more fulfilled.
Yeah.
So what's the secret? It's just
Happiness is
expectations.
relative to your mindset.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Well, thank you for sharing that, Nathan.
Yeah.
So my first one I've written down, it's actually one I've talked about often, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Something my dad's taught me since middle school. I feel like it's kind of been part of our family culture, and I've really tried to, when I have low moments in my year or my day, or anxiety hits or depression hits or whatever it is, like the phrase "be discouraged, not
Be determined.
be determined, not discouraged," is always the first thought in my mind, just with how I was raised. And I've talked about this plenty of times, but the base principle of that is, and you and I actually just talked about this, but happiness really is a choice. There are always two ways to look at anything. And I'm actually going to talk more about this in a few of my other life lessons, but even like last year, I feel like, or earlier this year, we kind of had a realization that we weren't the brand we were trying to portray. And we could have done one of two things. We could have said, yeah, you know what, let's just revert back to, a lesser version of us. But instead we said, no, we're going to work harder to become what we know we want to be this year. And I feel like we did.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us, we look at others and we compare ourselves to others. I know I'll be the first person to admit that I do that. And sometimes it quickly makes me discouraged. But this year especially, it's been like, no, let that be a determination to be better. Like, why am I discouraged about that? Okay, well, that's just me being insecure about X, Y, and Z. Let me work on those things. And when I do, I'm happier. And I could sit in a puddle and cry all day long. But in fact, to get really vulnerable here,
Please do.
a huge win. And I won't preface it. I've told you this, but like my fitness journey has just been kind of all over the place. I've never been what I wanted to be. I don't claim to be like an overweight or, malnourished. I've never been on either spectrum, but I've always wanted to be a certain way and look a certain way and have a certain level of strength. And I would always compare myself to people, and think like, oh, I'm just not that way. I suck. I look this way. Instead of just really loving me for me, And then last year, I kind of had enough of that self-pity and that discouragement. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to actually consult with people, others who could help me with this and like help me just kind of get on the right track and help me build healthy habits, be determined to change that discouragement. And I'm nowhere close to where I'd like to be. And I don't even think I'm that far away from where I was a year and a half ago. But my mindset has been night and day. How I viewed myself a year and a half ago versus how I look at myself now, it's way different.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm intentionally been putting in effort all year to help that. Even if like the results physically haven't been like as drastic as I had imagined and would like them to be, mentally they have been drastic.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the physical results that will come just through compounding in time and stuff. So
Yeah, just consistency.
that was a huge win for me just mentally this year has been like realistically being determined to change just a bad self-image problem,
I think that's really healthy. It is very healthy. Not just with the fitness thing, but also with finances, with relationships, whatever it is, to get the mindset right before you get the results. Because, for example, in the fitness world, if someone is out of shape and they want to look this certain way, and they want to get there as quick as possible, and they don't have the mindset, they don't have the discipline to get there naturally, they start taking stuff, right? They'll start taking steroids and they'll start doing some drastic things, and they get there quick, but the mindset isn't there. And as a result, most people at that stage who did get that, they have severe body dysmorphia. And people think that body dysmorphia is only for people that are overweight and they don't like the way they look, but it's actually, in a lot of cases, it's worse the more lean someone is. And so I think same thing with finances. If someone just makes a ton of money, like a lottery winner, what is it? Within 2 years of winning the lottery, they all go broke. That's the average or something.
Yeah.
It's because the mindset isn't there. They didn't have the mindset of what money actually is. And they don't have that idea that this money I'm about to spend, I worked for.
Yeah.
It was sweat.
Yeah.
So if you're just given something without the mindset behind it, I think it is very unhealthy.
Well, I think filmmakers a lot of the times will buy a LUT pack and think it's going to make their films look different, and it won't.
Right.
If you sit down and take a course and learn color grading and color theory, then it will.
Right.
It's I don't know. It's a whole different. One's persistence and education, and one is just you want a quick fix.
You gotta put in the work for it.
Yeah.
But with the mindset, I like that. Be determined, not discouraged. Yeah. That was passed down from Papa Weisler, right? Kirk. I like that one. I like that. All right. Are we moving on to point two?
Yeah, number 2.
Point 2. Okay. This one is delving a little bit into the spiritual realm as well.
Love it.
I titled this one is God's a Comedian. Okay.
I like it.
Now, a lot of things I'm going to say, they are probably going to be prefaced with, I heard this in a book or a podcast, or I read it here, but this one is actually a story that I'm going to use to tie it all together. I was in college. I was in a computer science class, my favorite one ever. It was teaching about UI, UX. I thought it was fascinating. And this story was shared with me. It was about TurboTax. So have you ever used TurboTax?
Year 1.
Yeah.
2018 Jake.
Right? So I feel like most freelancers have used TurboTax at one point.
Yeah.
And if you have, you'll notice, and I actually filed my taxes after I heard the story just to test it out. So as you're walking through TurboTax, there's multiple steps. It'll ask you, what was your income? You type it in, you put all your documents in there, you hit next. It does some like spinning calculations, goes to your expenses. It's basically a kind of a drawn out process with a lot of loading and spinners and things like that. And the fascinating thing was TurboTax in the very beginning, when they first launched, they didn't have those spinners. Basically, all you would do, you would add in your expenses, your what you made and what you spent. And a computer is just a super calculator. So when you give it numbers, the second you hit enter, fractions of a second after that, it knows the answer. So what they found was when people entered in their tax information, they hit enter and the computer immediately spit out their number. People didn't trust it because this is sensitive information. They can't get it wrong or the IRS comes after them. So when they immediately hit enter and TurboTax spit out the number they owed to the IRS, people didn't trust what it was saying because it didn't seem like the computer ran the numbers. It didn't seem like it ran the calculations. And so some weird thing in psychology, TurboTax, hired a team to do all these investigations, see what was really going on. They brought people on to design the UX and the UI, and they add in all of these spinners saying, okay, calculating this and this. But in reality, it actually knows exactly what you owe the second you submit it.
Wow.
So, but now if you do it, you'll wait. Like it's a process.
Yeah.
But it's just making you wait on purpose. And the reason I say that is because to me, that kind of tied in a lot of what I've kind of come to terms with this past couple of years, I'd say with God's timing for me. I would say now I can look back and I can appreciate the things that I have because these were things that I prayed for all growing up. And now that I have them, I can look back and see that they happened, but I don't remember them. Most times it wasn't one specific moment that it happened. Yeah. It was through a long period of waiting and putting in work, asking, not receiving, asking, not receiving, and then, you received it. So that's why I said God's a comedian, is because looking back, I can see all these things he's given me. Yeah. But right now, the things that I'm praying for and asking for, I don't see it. And odds are I probably won't see it the second it happens. Maybe I will. But maybe in 10 years, I'll look back and say, everything I have now those were the things I was praying for as I grew up. And so the timing of things is just crazy. And I've been having a little bit of fun with this one lately. I've been trying to spend more time in the scriptures in the morning. But after every opportunity that's new, whether it's a job opportunity, a text from a new person or something like that, the first thing I do is I just kneel down, I say a prayer, and I'd say, thank you for that. Like, I noticed it. Thank you for sending that person my way. And they just keep coming. Like, it's weird how it keeps happening. Yeah. Like, it's been very noticeable. So awesome. That's why, I'd say he's a comedian, the timing.
He's hilarious.
You want something so bad, and then he's just like, and you're not ready.
Yeah, work for it. People always say, like, doors open, but I think you still got to be putting in the consistent work for that door to open.
Oh, yeah.
Or so that when the door opens magically, you're ready for it.
You take advantage of it. Yep.
I love that one.
What is it? Like, luck is opportunity, when opportunity meets preparation or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that was my point number 2.
I like that.
Let's hear yours.
Very nice. This is from my mom. Parker Walbeck actually would always say, fake it till you make it. I think I mentioned this in the last podcast, but my mom always said, act the way you want to be, and soon you'll be the way you act. A little bit more deep than fake it till you make it. Act the way you want to be, and soon you'll be the way you act. Essentially, going back to my point number 1, if you're not some way, just start being that way, and you'll naturally become that way. If you, I think a good example this last year is that you and I were not, or the last 2 years, you and I were not like, quote unquote, professional, right?
Pretty lax.
Like, didn't know like the, professional lingo, etiquette, things like that. So we started, just acting like we were. And then now 2 years later, we just are that way with people where it matters. Same with educating, teaching, really anything. Being a husband, if you want to be a good husband, start acting like a good husband, and you will become a good husband. Those things. So I think my mom always would say that, like, if you're not something, start acting like you are, and you'll become that way. And I think the more I put myself in certain circles, the more I start wanting to act like them. Yeah, people I look up to, I'm like, I love this trait they have, or this or this, and now I am that way. And working for Parker got me there quickly with confidence, because Parker is one of the most confident people you'll ever meet. And I had to act confident if I was going to be on his team. And it naturally just helped me be confident, and now I feel like I'm very confident in what I say, and I have very thick skin now, in regards to this industry. So I think I don't know. I try to live that way, act the way you want to be, and soon it'll be the way you act.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it, but a little bit more genuine.
Yeah. No, yeah, I like that.
It's not faking it. It's this added emphasis on striving to be a certain way,
Right.
more than it is like just pretend.
Yeah. It's kind of like going right in par with the affirmation thing. Like I am this sort of person.
Yeah.
I am gonna get this. And I had a buddy, have a buddy.
Have this cousin. Well, I had this cousin.
It's actually Bridger, and Bridger is someone who has gotten a lot out of life, and I respect him. And when I lived with him in college, sorry, I guess someone's dumping a truck back there.
It's okay. You actually can't hear as much.
12:45 p.m. Bridger, when I lived with him during college, I remember one day he told me every single night and every single morning, like I'm kind of weird. Like I go by myself, whether it's in the bathroom, and I just say out loud, I'm stoked for tomorrow. Like I'm so pumped. I can't wait. It's going to be the greatest day ever. And I do it every single night. And he basically just hypes himself up before he goes to bed. And then the first thing he does when he wakes up, just hypes himself up. And I tried that, and I did it for a long time. And it's kind of like that same thing.
Yeah.
You're not faking it. You're just making yourself that person. And it happens.
It does. It's, I think this next generation calls it manifesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Manifesting, praying, you can go whatever you want.
Right.
But the mindset is just, if you want to be a millionaire, you got to start acting like a millionaire. And you can't just hope $1 million falls in your lap.
You gotta bring on the person. Yeah, you gotta be the person first. Yeah. I like that. That was great. Man, 2 lessons right off the bat from
The Weislers.
Papa K and Mama R.
I think the remaining 3 are also from my dad. So, yeah.
All right, number 3. I titled this one "Fitness Matters," and this actually comes from Terry Crews. So Terry Crews,
Love Terry Crews.
Old Spice, right? He wrote this book called Manhood that I read.
Yeah.
And in the book, there's just been something that's always, I can't remember most of what was in the book, but I remember one specific thing where he gets really vulnerable. And he said a lot of things that I really liked. One was, all you guys out there, let your wife help you with your style, with your fashion. Like just let them help you. They love doing it. They're going to make you look better.
Caleb, please let Nate wear tight t-shirts.
By the way, she's probably going to hate this outfit because they're all in the wash right now. So I'm like, yeah. But his other thing was, it was talking about fitness. Now, Terry Crews is a very fit guy, very, very fit. And he talked about how in life, a lot of doors have opened for him simply by the way he looks. And it was kind of a weird thing because fitness is, when you first meet someone, you hear the phrase, don't judge a book based on its cover, right? Because someone could be completely different than when you first meet them. But I feel like fitness is the one thing that immediately tells you a lot about someone's character. Because if you meet someone who's like really fit, you know that they're waking up. Well, yeah, that too. If it's a bro, yeah. Yeah, one of 2 things. They're either they're that gym bro, but like you do, even if they are a gym bro, you know that they have some
self-discipline.
Yeah, they wake up.
First thing in my mind is self-discipline.
Exactly. Like they eat good, they train good, they probably prioritize sleep and hydration. Like they have these
And if
good.
it was easy, everyone would do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So fitness, and I can't think of any other thing that when you first meet someone, you can tell that much about them other than just how they have built out their body. And so I think that was just such an eye-opening thing to me, is because going back to Parker is a very confident dude. Mm-hmm. He's also very short.
Yeah, short king.
But he's ripped.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that goes a long way for him.
Magnificent forearms.
He has magnificent forearms and biceps. And most people, Sylvester Stallone, short dude, ripped back in the day. He still is. Tom Cruise. Like they all just have this baseline fitness standard. And I think that compensates for a lot of confidence that someone wouldn't otherwise have.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying, confidence can take some time to accumulate, but I think that fitness level is probably the biggest booster of confidence.
Not to say you can't be confident without
Exactly.
being jacked.
Right, exactly. No, you can definitely be confident without being jacked, but I think that's just one of the big. Do you remember at FTF when Parker made us read The Psychology of Money?
Mm-hmm.
In that book, he talked about if someone's driving a $100,000 car, it doesn't say anything about how much money they make. All it tells
you know is that they're 6 figures poorer than when they bought the car.
Exact that, and they care about how they're perceived by other people. You just know they've spent that on a car, and they want to be perceived as that person. Doesn't tell you they could have gone broke for that car. Yeah. But with fitness, it's not smoke and mirrors. They are what they are because they put in they don't want to be perceived as that they are that.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I think a lot of doors can open.
Where does the term pretty boy muscles come from? Because you can look good but not be very strong.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there's different types of training, right?
We should have a fitness episode.
I would love that.
That'd be sweet.
I mean, bodybuilders, for example, like Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
He is very strong, don't get me wrong. But there are power lifters out there
who could clear
who
house.
look like they
and
just
he's admitted
have,
that, yeah.
Well, they just look like they have a gut. They don't have anything on them, but they will
They're strong.
mop the floor with the weights that Chris Bumstead is putting. Like,
Yeah.
so there's just different types of training that can optimize the muscle, and
so
they might
cool.
not be the strongest, but yeah, and that's the other thing. You don't have to lift super. Yeah, we'll talk about that on the fitness.
You don't have to do
You
cardio.
don't have to get rid of the cardio. But yeah,
No, but along that same vein, you look great, by the way.
oh, thank you,
You put the work in, you put the diet in.
thank you.
You've kind of had to put the diet in
Yeah.
with some of your problems,
Yeah.
but either way, you put the work in consistently for years,
Right.
and you look amazing. My sample of that this year, like I've said, it's been just like intentionally working out and eating better, and I'm not eating perfectly, nowhere close to where I should be eating.
I don't think
And,
anyone should be.
Yeah, and I'm
Fairness.
not, and even my workouts, like I have good months and bad months, but even just the knowing that I'm intentionally trying to improve my physical health, my mental health, and my confidence have soared, and I just feel better about myself, you know.
Yeah.
And I do think it plays a role. It doesn't matter what weight bracket you find yourself in, what you think you look like, but like I think the intentionality between I'm taking care of myself is so important.
Yeah, and it doesn't even need to be like a 6-pack or anything. It's just a better version of yourself.
Yeah, thank God I don't have a 6-pack.
6-packs are overrated, honestly.
Don't say that.
They're useless.
My number 3, also from my dad. So this is a story. I'm going to tell a story because I know it verbatim. I went to me and my dad were big movie guys. I went to a movie with my dad one time. It was on New Year's.
What movie?
I don't remember. But it was a New Year's Eve movie. And we went to the concession line. And my dad's one of those guys, makes you just want to kill yourself. Like when if you're in a line with him and he's like trying to be funny, and you're just like, oh my gosh, just please let me go. Like you're being held hostage in that conversation. I can't even tell how many times I've been sitting at a restaurant with him. He'll send his milkshake back if it's not chocolatey enough. And you're like, make it with some love. And you're just like, oh. But it's just my dad. He's so genuine, and he brings the energy. Anyway, so it's one of those moments where you walk into the movie theater, it goes to the concession line, and I think I can confidently say here that we all agree that movie theater employees are zombies most of the time. I won't exclude the few, and if you're listening and you work at a theater and you happen to be this 1%, good for you. But most of the time, they're zombies. There's 8 lanes open, or 8 lanes available, 1 lane open, and they just are moving like sloths behind the counter. So my dad walks up and he says, he orders the food, he sees her name tag and it says Diamond. Her name was Diamond. He said, Diamond. I just picture my dad.
I can picture.
What a beautiful name. He's like, Diamond, are you excited for the new year? Just eyes open. My dad just like gets in your face.
Oh, yeah.
And she doesn't even look up. Well, can't be much worse than last year. That's all she said.
What year was this?
I don't know. But she's like, well, can't be much worse than last year was.
Holy.
And my dad not even skipping a beat, still smiling. Well, Diamond, your year will get better when you do. Grabs his food and walks away. Yeah. And we walk away. And I don't even think anything of it because, like, it happens all the time. And anyway, we're leaving the theater. We're walking away, and Diamond runs up to us with a huge smile and grabs my dad and like turns him around and says, "I've been thinking about what you said, and I'm gonna have a good year." Wow. That's it.
Wow.
And so my dad always tells that story now, and we always talk about it like, "Oh, tomorrow's gonna suck." Like Bridger, like tomorrow's gonna suck. It's like, no, it'll get better when you get better, when you choose to get better. Because you can tell yourself right now, like, "Oh, 2024 is gonna suck," or right now you can decide, make the conscious effort. And I think all my 3 points so far have been the exact same life lesson, just spread out into
Just
different.
one lesson.
Just choose to be better.
Yeah.
Choose to be happy. Choose to be successful. Choose to work harder. Choose to make your year better.
Yeah.
And it will always, it's, glass half empty, glass half full, but it's always just really up to you and how you perceive your reality. But if you live in this mindset of your happiness is contingent on other people, you'll be miserable because people will let you down. We talk about this about the photographers. If you walk into a wedding and say, "I'll only be able to do my job if some vendor doesn't get in my way," well, then they're going to get in your way, and then you're going to blame them, and then the couple who you're there for is going to be upset that they didn't get their shot. But if you sit there and say, "No, I don't care who's working this event. I don't care how miserable the conditions are. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to do my job, and nobody can stop me." Choose joy, choose happiness. My dad, in that same vein, my dad's famous motto that I'll probably put on his gravestone is, "Nobody can steal my joy." And he lives by that.
I like that.
No matter how rude you are to my dad, no one can steal his joy. He does
that.
not give you that right, ever. So yeah, your day will get better when you do. Man. Diamond story.
I wonder how Diamond felt in that moment. If it was like, if she was really mad
Your year will
and
get
then she
better
came
when
around to
you
it.
do.
Ooh.
She's just slinging popcorn for 2
do.
hours. You know what? He's right.
I'm quitting this job.
Screw this.
And that was at a movie theater.
Yeah. Guys, actually, if I ever just wanted to work a minimum wage job, it would be at a movie theater.
I was about to say, you would,
I would be Diamond.
but you want to be a
Be
manager.
happy.
You want to be a
I would have to
manager.
manage the team. Yeah.
Would you shovel the popcorn though?
I would. Yeah.
You would?
Yeah. For short staffed, absolutely. Yeah. Put me in, coach.
But to be the manager, you probably would have to work your way up, which means
Maybe.
you think you're just gonna
Or you
walk
say
in.
like I have the skills to manage people. Put me in. I don't think
Yeah.
movie theater business you need to work your way up that way.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
I would be interested if you did though. Like, where do you go? If you're the cashier, then
Actually, they're
popcorn?
selling that little movie theater on American Fork Main
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah,
The little
It's
blue
getting
guy.
sold, yeah.
They're selling it 1.5 if you want to pull our cash together and buy it.
compound for a couple of years as well.
I think I was an offer on it. I called them. I was curious.
you really?
Yeah, I was curious
1.5 million.
for the building.
Wow. What are they? Has anyone bought it yet?
They said they had a contract, but I wasn't sure yet. But
Dang,
I would love to own a movie theater.
that would be cool.
Host like wedding film festivals and stuff.
I feel like that's low key one of your lifelong goals.
It is.
Own a movie theater.
And when I make this movie theater, I will interior design it to look like a 1950s movie theater. Red carpets, all the employees be in black ties with the cuff.
Like the butler look.
Yeah, it'll look
heck
top
yeah.
tier. I'll only hire you if you have like a mustache. If Hooters can hire people based on like their body, I can hire based on your facial hair.
Why not?
Why not?
You tell them.
I want every employee to have a mustache.
The twirl.
If you're a girl, we'll give you a mustache. We don't discriminate.
But you need a mustache.
Yeah, that's a goal. Man.
Okay. The movie theater. There's actually a. Landon's flipping me off right now.
Classic. Such a bully.
Merry Christmas, Landon.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
What was I about to say? There's a ma and pa theater in, I think, also American Fork, and all they do is show old reruns of. Have you seen this theater?
Yeah. Yeah, I know where it is.
That's not the one being sold, right?
No.
You're talking about the one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you owned a movie theater, I'd be there every Tuesday.
It'd be so fun.
All right, is this lesson 4? This is lesson
Lesson
4.
4.
All right, you're gonna love this one.
Okay.
You're gonna really like this one.
This is about you.
No.
Never go into business with your best friend. I'm okay. I'm fine.
No, this one. Just let me speak it out here before you critique it, because I know you have mixed opinions.
critique your
Oh,
life
you will.
lessons.
You will. You will on this
dive
one.
into it.
Okay. So this one, the title is directly ripped from Cal Newport. Cal Newport is a computer scientist, also an author, and he wrote a book called Deep Work. Okay. And in the book, he says, the ability to concentrate is the superpower of the 21st century. I knew you were going to have to critique it. But let me riff here for a sec.
Yep.
Okay.
Go for it.
So Deep Work, the book is, if it could all be boiled down, he talks about people who are at the top. They have access to, I forgot all three things, but one of them was capital, one of them was property, and something else. And his whole argument was, in order to get there, you need to focus up. You need to get rid of the distractions, get rid of the notifications. And the whole book was basically spend 4 hours a day undistracted. Just head down doing the work. Okay? Because most people can get 8 hours of work done in 4 hours if they just, do the work. And it just seems like everyone now has ADD. It's overprescribed. But really, I think we just can't really control our thumbs. We're just on social media, right? And to me, what I've noticed is that everyone who has a relationship that I really respect, everyone who has a business that I really respect, anyone who has spirituality like I really respect, they all have this one thing in common, and that is that they can focus on that thing for a given amount of time consistently, day in, day out. So someone who has a relationship that I really love, when they go on a date, they can put their phones away or leave them at home. They can focus on just their person for just a sec, for a couple hours. People who have built businesses that I loved, they went off the grid.
Yeah.
They went off the grid. How much is up to them, but they put their head down. Some even go as far as just cut ties completely, but most of the time they're harder to reach. And I feel like in the times of my life where I'm distracted, that's also the times where I'm going a million different ways and I'm just making baby steps in a million different directions. And the times when I can just put my phone away for a couple hours and just do what I need to do, whether it's going on a date, whether it's spending time with someone or working on that thing that really needs to get done, it just makes more sense. Life makes more sense for me. Sometimes I push a little too far. If I lived in my perfect world, airplane mode all the time.
So triggering. It's so triggering.
Airplane mode. Nobody could reach me. That's my dream. But business partners, things like that, you gotta make some exceptions.
You don't though.
But I do a little bit. It's on do not disturb. But except for two people.
I'm not one of those
my
two people.
wife
I am
and Jacob
not one of those people
Weisler.
because you did not text me back.
No, I do. I text
I guess
you.
we rarely text solo, huh? It's usually in a
Yeah, it's usually, yeah. But even then, it tells me. If you text in a group chat,
really?
it tells me, Jacob Weisler texted. I don't see any of Dallin's or Sam's.
Makes you feel really good. Yeah, no, that's a huge one.
Before you say anything, because I know you're about to say something valid, okay? You are a very distracted person, but
Hold up.
But you have an ability to get more work done than almost anyone I know
With distractions.
when you put your phone away.
Oh, yeah.
You like, if you need to get a film done, you're like, all right, guys, I just got to do this. Like, you'll get it done in an hour. And I'm like, that would have taken me a week. So
Thank you.
yeah.
He's being nice because I'm about to rip into him. He wants me to be gentle.
No, I'm being nice because you're very
My
core.
fault is I think I text you with urgency when it may not be urgent.
Yeah,
Or-
that too.
Or I just feel like oftentimes I need you urgently. I don't know. I don't know if it's not urgent, but I just feel like I need an answer in that moment.
I feel like maybe it's two of our goals colliding. I'm trying to figure out what's really urgent in life.
Yeah, and less in the comments. my take on this. Appreciate the life lesson.
Please.
But
Destroy my life
you're
lesson.
If you're in a partnership with somebody,
Right.
and we both said, you know what, let's try to keep the 9 to 5 schedule. I would like to reach you from 9 to 5.
That's why you're on my allowed
Because-
list for do not disturb.
to give a example here.
Okay. The Kajabi
I
code.
feel like with our workshop, a lot of things were happening quickly because we're planning it within a month. And me and Beck would be in these conversations, and then decisions we made, hours later, you jump in and respond and give your feedback and like change our direction. It's like, it was already decided. But I do respect the principle.
It's a good principle.
You say I'm allowed on your do not disturbs, but I don't feel that way.
Yeah, well, that'll be a 2024 lesson.
Yeah.
Honing that in.
But actually, okay. In all seriousness, one of my 2024 goals is to be a little bit more like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Not
There's a balance.
Not the unreachableness, but definitely really setting aside some grind hours.
Right.
But I also think I'm kind of just like self-therapeuting myself here to justify his life lesson. I do think, well, this is on us. If we had a better week schedule,
Exactly. Yeah.
and said, here's what each day is for, and here's what each hours are for, it wouldn't be this all of a sudden on Thursday. I'm like,
Right.
where the hell are you? And it's like you're in grind mode, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's the thing. I feel like most times if we just have a set schedule of people are just, is this turning into a meeting?
So
if we just
for Mondays at 9:00, let's do. No, I agree.
But most times it could be, you don't have to put out as many fires if you have a set schedule.
Exactly.
Of, I'm going to be doing this,
Well, let's work on that then.
and I'm going to be doing this. You're doing this. This is my hours where I'm at your. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. There's only been like a few times where I've really felt frustrated.
The
but
Kajabi
it's-
codes.
It's it's just like the time sensitive things where it just happens to fall in your D&D window, and there's no one to blame for that.
It's so funny. Like I get a text from Jake, just quick. Whenever.
Well, for some reason, our course platform's been logging me out every single day, and then it's linked to his phone, so I have to like get a security code every single day. It's just the worst.
Yeah.
And then it expires with like 2 minutes. You have to get a
It's
new
like
one.
it's really quick. Yeah. There are multiple times that happens, and I'm just like, oh, whoops.
But I respect the life lesson. I do.
Yeah, no. But
Like genuinely, I really do.
there is, because here's my dream world, Jacob, and we've talked about this. I want to buy a property, a vineyard.
Wyoming. Oh, Italy.
Well,
California.
I could do Well, I couldn't do California, but the idea of California, some rolling vineyard, and I would just have like this little, this outdoor bakery basically, where I'm sipping fine olive oil taste. You can sip olive oil.
Yes, he wants to live on a vineyard, but doesn't drink wine.
I don't drink wine,
It's
guys.
an olive vineyard.
Okay, I want to
An
have
olive vineyard.
Yeah, an olive vineyard, but I want to have just the finest vinegars, the finest olive oils. Be baking my bread in there all day, and just not a worry in the world. People be like, "Where's Nate?" Oh, he's probably on his
So
vineyard.
Jeff Bezos talked about this.
Yeah.
He said he's at a point in his career where, because he's preached. I mean, you've seen him. He's ripped now.
Oh yeah,
He looks good. Because he's put all of his effort into his sleep and his working out and diet.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, why? He's like, because I'm at a point in my career where I'm no longer on the ground level doing anything. I have to show up to work and make big decisions.
Right.
Maybe 1 or 2 a day.
Crazy.
But huge decisions. And my mind, my body, my spirit have to be clear.
Yeah.
Clean.
Right.
And so I do think, hopefully we get to that point where you can have your vineyard. And it's one of those things where it's like Nate shows up for like those 1 or 2 decisions every day.
Exactly.
We both show up with like,
That'd be great.
and then the team does the rest.
Imagine that you're in your movie theater,
Slinging popcorn.
slinging popcorn, and we just show up for the big decisions. All right, see you guys.
I'll probably have a house in Tuscany, Italy before I have a movie theater.
See, I would do Tuscany as well. We
go to
could live in Tuscany.
Wives would be cool with that.
Yeah.
I love the
Oh,
lesson.
yeah, absolutely.
Frustrates me, but I love it. All right.
I'll hone it in 2024.
Yeah. All right. Number 4 is also from my dad.
Okay, Papa K.
He's actually wrote a book about this. I'll just tell the story. I'll tell the story that he wrote the book about. It's a true story that happened in my family. He turned it into a children's book. The children's book, it looks like a children's book, but it's actually like a leadership book that like corporate companies will buy for their leadership training programs. The number one buyer of this book is actually Boeing Aircraft,
Crazy.
who uses it in their leadership meetings.
Crazy.
Which is crazy. But the book is called The Dog Poop Initiative, and one day I'll make it a short film. But it happened between me, my dad, and my brother, where my dad showed up to, back in the day when you're 4 or 5-year-old soccer games, where it's just like one field and they just kind of like rotate the kids. And so like kids are just playing on the one soccer field all day long. So my dad showed up with my little brother, and we were the last team to play that day. And when he showed up at the soccer field, referees or a parent came up to him and said, "You guys play next?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool, just watch out." And he pointed. He said, "There's a huge pile of dog poop in that part of the field. So just tell your kid to watch out." And I was like, "Okay." And so he kept walking to the field. Another parent, "You play next?" "Yeah." "Watch out, there's a huge pile of dog poop on that side of the field." He's like, "Okay." Got to the field. The referees have now changed the rules of the game so that they don't have to go to that part of the field. They've sectioned it off, a big pile of dog poop, and they warned everyone, "Hey, just watch out." So everyone's pointing at the problem. Everyone's pointing, and everyone's telling other people to point. And my dad's looking at these adults who are pointing at the problem, and he's looking at the kids watching their parents point at the problem and trying to avoid this pile of poop while they play soccer. So my dad goes over to the nearest trash can, grabs a piece of cardboard and a stick, walks over, scoops it up, throws it away. Whole thing's over within like 2 minutes. And then one parent had the gall to say, "Thanks for doing that. Someone definitely needed to do that." And he said, "And it could have been you." And he wrote it he wrote it to his email list. He wrote that story to his email list. It got passed around back in the early 2000s, whatever they did back then.
Yeah.
Turned it into a book, and now he calls it his best smeller, the Dog Poop Initiative. But the principle is, and we were raised in our family motto as Weislers was, Weislers take the initiative, which means seeing something that needs to be done and then doing it without being asked.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lost skill, I think. A lot of people don't have that skill, and I only credit it towards my parents teaching us. But to take the initiative,
Right.
if you see something that needs to be done, do it without waiting to be asked to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad lives by this. We're walking to a movie theater, walking around, and a piece of trash on the ground, he'll grab it and throw it away. Little things like that, but if we see something that needs to get done, just do it. Don't wait to be asked to do it. Just do it. Even if it's not necessarily your job to do it. I think a recent example of you taking the initiative was at the Colorado wedding. We had a drone. The planner had a photographer with the drone, but the drone was broken. And without even hesitating or waiting, you just offered, "Here's our drone. Like, do you want to use it? Can I help you with it?" And so I think a life lesson that I really appreciate my dad for is teaching our family to take the initiative. And there's this one funny story. Before I really learned this lesson, I was young. I had left my shoes outside on the porch before coming inside after a play thing or whatever. And I just left them there for weeks. Through the rain, just left my shoes out there.
Uh-huh.
And I think months went by. And then one day I go out there and my shoes weren't there. And I was like, "Anyone see my shoes?" The one time I need them. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I put them away for you." I was like, "Oh, thanks." He's like, "Yeah, come here." So he pulls me over to the shoes. And there was a $100 bill in the shoe. And he said, "About a month ago, I put a $100 bill in this shoe because I'd been out there for a month and nobody had cleaned it up. And I was waiting for whoever took the initiative to clean these up would get $100, and no one did." And I was like, "Dang."
And he just took the $100 bill.
Yeah.
Man, Papa Weisler.
That's good life lessons.
He's got some one-liners.
He does. Oh yeah, I was raised on one.
The first one to diamond.
Take the initiative, and I think applying that to like videography or really anything, just like just looking for ways to serve, and not waiting for a planner or someone to ask you to do it. This last year, I think you and I have been in the intentional effort to get the content for planners so that when they do ask for it, or even hopefully before they ask for it, we have it for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like, wow, I didn't have to ask these guys, and now I have all these videos for my Instagram,
Right.
So just take the initiative.
Yeah.
And if you want to buy his book, it's like a few bucks on Amazon. Dog Poop Initiative.
Yeah.
I do want to make it a short film one day.
It would be a great
It'd
short
be fun.
film.
You just gotta get like 20 kid actors, and that sounds like a nightmare.
And a dog that can leave a big pile of poop.
Yeah.
No, he gave me that book, and one day when we were at your parents' place, and he gave me the book, read it. What is it, like a 2-minute read?
Yeah. It reads like a Dr. Seuss book. Like it's
very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it hits home.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I'll link it below. The Dog Poop Initiative. Yeah.
The best smeller.
Best smeller.
I like that.
Yeah. All right. Final point, Nathan.
Final point. Okay. This one is also one that needs to be honed in 2024. But the principle of it, I really like, and I really have been paying attention to it, trying to, because it is part of my character, I'm trying to refine it, make it more
Como se dice?
chivalrous. Hey, who's turning on the lights in here? Anyway, like the last one, let me riff for a second before you.
Time is yours.
Time is mine. So this one I titled "Speak Less." Okay, and I didn't say "Speak Less, Listen More." Nothing cheesy like that. Even though Parker just released a podcast that was like "Speak Less, Listen More."
I need to speak less.
But there's a funny quote. It's falsely attributed to Abraham Lincoln, but I wrote this down. So
Falsely attributed.
What did I say?
You said falsely attributed to Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, there's a quote. It's falsely attributed to Abraham Lincoln. Okay. A lot of people say Abe said this, but he didn't actually say it. It's actually a variation of Proverbs 17:28 that says, "Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and to remove all doubt." And I love that quote. So what better way to say this than to be on a podcast where we make ourselves look like fools?
Yeah.
But so growing up, I was always like a shy kid. And over the years, I've realized that being shy and being quiet they're not the same thing. I do think being shy is something that needs to be overcome. I think you lose out on a lot by being shy. If you don't want to raise your hand, if you have a question, you won't get the answer. And that compounded over time really can hurt you. And not just in school, but a lot of things. If you're shy and you don't take advantage of something when you want to, it hurts. So I grew
Adults
up.
have now named it introverted as a way to not sound childish.
Yeah. And there are, I guess, like different ways of being introverted. I don't know.
Okay. Fair.
But yeah, I kind of grew up with those experiences of being shy where, I'd want to raise my hand or I'd want to go talk to that girl and I'd want to do all these things. And I didn't because I was so scared of being rejected. And over the years, I wouldn't say I'm shy now, but I definitely still am quiet. And I always wanted to be kind of like that loud kid. I always wanted to be a loud, like class clown. I wanted to be the funny guy. And I just couldn't do it. And the more I tried to do it, the more I looked like an idiot. And it just wasn't true to character for me. It wasn't true to character. And it's the best way I can describe it is looking back. It's similar to when you see yourself on camera or hear your voice. You kind of just like, ugh.
Cringe, yeah.
Yeah, you cringe. And I just think, I look at people who, I've actually had people ask me, who are in this business, who are filming weddings, and they feel like they need to be this loud, outspoken, they need to be directing these poses and this and that. But you and I guess, I feel like we've learned that the higher up we've gone, kind of the less involved we are, the less we actually have to speak and direct couples. And again, this is something that needs to be honed because
kind of like Jeff Bezos, when you're called upon, you got to be clear.
Exactly. So this is something that needs to be honed, and we've had meetings, we've had our discussions where it's like, hey, like I need you to speak up. So like there are still times where I need to speak up.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are a lot of people who say like you have to be an extrovert if you're going to run a business. But then you look at Jeff Bezos, you look at Elon Musk, you look at Mark Zuckerberg, you look at all these, Bill Gates, they're all quiet introverts. And so I just think there's this narrative, especially with social media.
Strength in
Yeah, there's strength in being kind of genuine and refined in what you say. Instead of just saying everything, I think it hits harder for me when I'm around someone who has that, like Parker. He's quiet, but when he says something, like he means it and he's thought about it. And that's kind of the person I'm striving to be. Yeah. Not afraid to speak up and say what I think with whatever it may be. But
not to talk aimlessly.
Yeah. I just think there's a certain nobility to that.
Yeah, there is.
And I think people respect that, even though social media is trying to make us think that, you got to be
talking about everything all the time.
Yeah, you got to be this 20-something-year-old millionaire that's bragging about XYZ.
Yeah, I think it's more important to just be who you are confidently.
You can succeed either way.
Because I think people see through the fakeness. Like if you were to try to be that extroverted, what's up, guys? It's just not you,
Yeah. It's not me.
Yeah.
So
and people see. My dad always said, if you're wrong, admit it. If you're right, keep your mouth shut.
I like that. Man, Papa K's got some good stuff.
Like, if you're wrong, just own up to it.
I need
But
to
if,
sit
if you're
down with
right,
him.
like, why are you arguing?
Yeah.
Just shut up.
There was a
Silence is more profound.
I don't know who it was. It was someone from one of the leaders of the church, and they said, when was the last time you won an argument and didn't say anything about it? Like, when was the last time you knew you were right and you didn't say it?
Not recently.
I can't name the last time.
my life mission is to win arguments.
But yeah, that's the principle. But like
love
all
it.
things, too much of one thing is a vice, and then you pretty much just go back into being shy if you just don't ever speak.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah, I like that.
that's my
One
fifth.
of my goals for next year is also to listen more.
Really?
And listen thoroughly. I think there's a huge difference between like listening and then like listening with intent.
Yeah.
Kenzie just went to the Stephen Covey's leadership. They had at her work. They
Really?
had the Stephen Covey training, which I found out my mom worked at Stephen Covey this week, and I also found out that my dad applied to be a teacher at Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Your dad would kill it there.
Yeah. But one of the life lessons was like listening with intent. Because I think some people, they'll listen and then they'll hear a word and they'll wait for you to be done so they can jump on that word and they miss what you were actually saying. And the example they gave was like a kid came home from school, and Kenzie relayed this to me, but a kid came home from school, threw his backpack on the ground and said, I'm dropping out of school. This is stupid. And the first example, the mom's like, no, you're not. You're going back to school. Like, not listening. The second example, the kid came in, threw it on the ground. In the first example, the kid never wanted to talk about it after that because the mom's like, no, you're doing this, But the second example, the kid came down, threw his backpack on the floor and said, I hate this, I'm dropping out of school. The mom said nothing, just waited. Then the kid said, I can't believe they failed me. And she's like, oh my gosh, that sounds horrible. So the kid kept talking. He kept talking. She kept validating until finally she just learned that he didn't study, so he failed the test, and he is embarrassed. He wants to drop out of school. Doesn't actually want to drop out of school,
Right.
but he was feeling so hurt about failing that test that it was ultimately his fault. But if the mom hadn't listened and let him really talk all the way through, she would never have had that moment to say like, well, here's the solution. And I think one of my things that I want to work on is letting people talk all the way through. And really like, even like when I think they're done, like getting further understanding on that point so that I can actually listen like thoroughly and hear like, that's what you said, but like dive deeper into that. My dad's good at that. My mom's good at that. My sister Brooklyn's really good at that. And I want to be good at that as well. Like really like, even if like I think they're done talking, okay, well, I just want to listen more,
That's the hard thing.
why I
Though.
like that.
Like anyone who is very good at conversations, they always tell you the best way to have a conversation is just listen. Don't plan what you're going to say. And that is the hardest thing to do, to not plan what you're going to say.
My problem with that is being in this space where I feel like people want to hear me say something.
Yeah.
But I've learned through our wedding consultation calls that the more I actually just listen, they usually will book us. If I'm just talking at them the entire time, they don't feel connected. But if they feel like they actually get to express themselves for an hour, it's like, here's our money.
But you still got to know when to jump in.
Exactly. I like that, Nathan.
That's my fifth one.
I like your 5 lessons.
Send it home.
I'm going to apply those to my 5 next year.
We got to write these down.
I'm writing a lot of goals for next year that I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
My 5th one's also from my dad.
Papa K.
It's also a book he wrote.
I didn't know he wrote multiple books.
Yeah, he wrote 3. This one is his second book. And it's The Cookie Thief. I filmed this book. I somehow got access to an airport when I was 14. And I got to film in an airport this story. But it's not his story. He took it from like this classic poem, made it his own. But the principle is don't rush to judgment. I'll tell the story. There's this guy. He's late for his flight. It's delayed. He's rushing. He's angry. He decides to wait for his delayed flight, gets a bag of cookies, gets some milk, sits down in the terminal to wait for the flight to be called. Some guy sits down next to him, some shady character. And to his surprise, this new guy, we'll call him the thief, starts eating his cookies that he had just bought.
Just reaching his paws into the
starts
bag.
eating his own cookies. And the guy is just astounded. Like, I can't believe some stranger sat down and is eating my cookies. and just goes to town. This guy in his mind, like, what a pig, like, what a thief, like, does he know who I am? Like, those are expensive. And so he starts eating the cookies back and starts taking those cookies and saying, these are my cookies. And he starts like, so a little battle ensues when they each take a cookie one at a time. And there's in this war of like, whose cookies are these? And the thief is just like some pig, you know? And then the thief, ends up leaving when the cookies are empty. And the guy's left alone to his thoughts, like, what a-hole. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe he just ate my cookies. Anyway, they call his flight. So he goes to grab his suit jacket. And he pulls his suit jacket back, and he realizes that his cookies were under his suit jacket the whole time. So the thief, or he thought was a thief, had actually sat down with his own cookies, and the guy had actually been eating his.
He was the thief.
He was the thief. And so my dad wrote a book about it, and he'd always teach our family, like, you should never know what someone's going through.
Yeah.
So before you judge them, make sure you're not the one stealing the cookies. And many times in my life, often, recently, I'll place a judgment and then I have to wheel it back and be like, that it was on me. I didn't understand that situation, or I didn't understand that person, or I was quick to judge something I shouldn't have judged. I mean, biblical, what's the phrase? The mote in the eye, you know?
Yeah. The beam in the moat.
So I try to apply that as much as I can, and it's stuck with me my whole life. Is just you just never know what someone's going through, and to never take or have an opinion on somebody based on somebody else's opinion on that person. Like, wait it out, get your own opinion first. You know, yeah. So I don't know. We could go into that for an hour, but
No, I
don't
like
judge
that.
people.
Really like that. Yeah.
I'm also very judgmental by nature.
Aren't we all, though?
So it's one of those things I need like a pendant on my wrist, like, to always remember. Like the Alcoholics Anonymous, like those, like, you've been one day clean. I need one of those, like, you didn't judge anyone today. Because I'm so quick to just be like, man, what an idiot. Especially driving.
Oh, or a photographer jumping in the way of
Oh my
like
gosh.
right in front of your camera.
Yeah. Well, good example. I should have been somewhere else.
Yeah.
It is freezing in here. Guys, I
Yeah.
can see my breath. I feel like it is so cold.
We need to get another space where we can film.
Yeah, we're done with this place.
We should treat the audio too, so it's sounded
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. But those are the 10 life lessons from
Yeah.
the Runaway Vows team.
That is what is it, December 8th? Yeah. Wow, coming up on Christmas here, wrapping up 2023. Those are the lessons.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to do this next year.
Yeah.
What we learned about 2024.
Yeah, that will be. Maybe next week we'll do like a New Year's goal
Yeah.
episode.
That'd be a fun one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had this planned the whole time, guys. It's not like we're just winging it.
What's the quote? Like, never let them know your next move. So maybe we won't tell you our goals. We just outline our entire business plan. Maybe we won't. But guys, thanks for listening.
Yeah,
This
thank
is
you.
episode 11. It's been awesome.
It's been great. It's been fun.
Keep an eye for Champagne Club. We're really excited about our coaching program. And if you guys want links to those books or anything, just shoot us a DM. Probably won't be in the bio, so just shoot us a DM. DMs are always open, so happy to answer questions. Also, way off topic here.
Hit me.
Way off topic.
Left
For those who stay for the very end of these podcasts, I've been getting a lot of challengers in the Smash Brothers arena. And Nathan and I want to extend our formal invitation to a can of whoop butt on you in the Smash Brothers arena. So if you think you have the cojones
Please.
to challenge us
Please.
at Smash Brothers,
Please.
so far 3 of you have challenged us with the rhetoric of, you guys aren't good, I'm going to destroy you. And I haven't lost a game yet. So if anyone you think you have the cojones, Nathan and I, take your pick. We
Want
want
to
to
run
challenge you.
combos? Run combos? That'd be a different ball game too.
So yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. Merry Christmas, everybody, or whatever holiday you celebrate.
Happy holiday season.
All of our Jehovah's Witnesses friends, like, we don't celebrate that.
Do you Jehovah's Witnesses?
I have some J-Dub friends.
Do they celebrate Christmas?
No.
They don't. They don't. It's a pagan holiday.
No holidays, yeah, or birthdays.
We have lots of Jewish friends.
Yeah.
They don't celebrate Christmas.
So happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends. Happy Christmas
Happy
to our
holiday
Christian
season.
friends.
And Pump for the new year.
Pump for the new year. 24 is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Kicking off the Champagne Club.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. Catch you in
bye.
the next one.
Love you. Bye.